Hello and welcome to Follow Everton, your unprofessional, professional Everton YouTube channel. Joining me tonight for this special show is my good friend, Mr. David Westy Weston. Dave, Happy New Year. How are you feeling today? Are you feeling a little bit better? Because I know you were angry last night, to say the least. You couldn't stomach the...
Says it on the bottom. I'm fuming.
You're fuming about the result last night, or you're fuming about the decisions?
No, I'm pleased with the performance last night. I'm just fuming that once again we've been on the wrong end of a VAR decision. That last night is just ridiculous. It's just the straw that broke the camel's back for me, right?
Yeah, it's too many times. Too many times this season. I mean, I was kind of thinking it's okay. As long as we finish 17th, as long as we stay up given the points deduction, it's okay. I can tolerate this because I don't think we were quite in the mix of the relegation. But now we're down the bottom. Now that Luton look like they can get out of it, I'm starting to be concerned about the manner of which some of these results are coming. And last night was a disappointment, as you can imagine, because Everton were the better team. They were the better team. They had chances. They weren't clinical. I think they're lacking a bit of confidence. But the bad decision to send Dominic Calvert-Lewin off could have cost us a place in the next round of the Cup. And it's those kind of decisions that have gone against us. And I hate talking about refs, but I think it's got to the point where, Dave, I think we have to now have a look at this and hold them to account and explain why.
Yeah, for me, the catalyst of that whole scenario with Calvert-Lewin and the VAR ref intervening. Now we all know that the linesman or the fourth official, whatever you want to call him, and the ref on the day at that present moment of time gave nothing. And Craig Pawson, who was the VAR ref, went back. Some technical issues there. Went back and decided that there was something there to be looked at. Now, like I said, the catalyst of this incident was Nathaniel Klein going over like he'd been sniped from the crowd. Now, if he hadn't gone down in the dramatic fashion that he did, that probably wouldn't have even been looked at by the VAR.
So was that gamesmanship from him? Cheating?
Yeah, basically, yeah, looking to get a player sent off. Like everybody's in agreement that there was contact, very, very minimal contact, but we all know we have our issues with Craig Pawson, right? And why he keeps being given chances to referee our games is beyond me. Whether that be in a VAR, a VAR official state or on the pitch, the man should never be allowed near an Everton game again in his life.
I do have an issue with Craig Pawson more than I do with Chris Kavanagh, and I'll come into that in a moment. But I think it is now becoming a serious problem, the agenda against Everton. And I think if the ban gets upheld, I think we'll know for sure. I think the common sense thing in here now is to rescind that, or at least if they're going to have to acknowledge the fact that he's got a straight leg and his studs are up, and they are adamant that's a red card, and they're protecting each other, then it's got to be reduced to a one-match ban. Because he's not endangering him. It's a tackle made, in my opinion, in good faith. Dave, I want to take you back now. I want to take you back to the season. Then we're going to open up the forum to anyone who wants to jump on for this. We're here till around 8:30, so 45 minutes. Good evening to everyone in the comments. I've got Chris Litch, one of our VIP subscribers. I've got Dave, Peter Duggan, of course, Mr. Blue Skies. Thank you all for dropping on. And there's over 40 people watching live at this time. For a Friday night, that's fantastic. So thank you for sticking with us and showing us your
Just a quick
support.
one there. Just a quick one
Yes.
there, right? Peter
Yeah.
Duggan there said Chris Kavanagh could have said no. Now, since VAR's been introduced, you could probably count on one hand how many times when the ref has been sent to the screen when he's stuck by his original decision. It always gets overturned. Always. And yeah, he could have said no, but he didn't, because that's what refs do these days, isn't it, right?
I think, and I imagine, Chris Kavanagh would have been told he's gone with a straight leg, his studs are up, he's made some contact with them, and you've got to therefore send him off. I would have liked him to have had a backbone and had a little bit more situational awareness of the fact that you've slowed it down, and in real time it doesn't look like a red card offence. It doesn't look reckless. It doesn't look like he's endangering. It doesn't look. But if the letter of the law is a straight leg and a studs up is a red card, then what are we supposed to do? I think these rules.
This is the thing. This is the thing in it, right? Is that the referees are governed by the rules, and the rules are there's no in between the black and white, and they literally stick by the letter of the law. Now, somebody like me or you would have seen common sense there yesterday and gone, well, he hasn't, initially gone out and damaged the lad on purpose. He's genuinely gone for a tackle for the ball. He's slightly caught him. Yeah, his foot is up, but he's only just slightly touched him.
This is it, and David, one of our regulars, Dave B, he's spot on. I imagine the VAR has just said to Chris Kavanagh, studs. And that's what Will Hughes has actually said to one of the Everton players, studs. I think they knew it was harsh. They knew it was unnecessary, given the context of the tackle, the way the tackle was made out. But I think if you are to the law of the game, then possibly, I don't know. We'll come back to this and we'll talk about this and we'll get some different opinions. I'm going to take you back, Dave, to the start of the season, and I want to look at this in more detail now, because I think it's a totting up. It's a 12 points now. It's a tossing up fine. I'm going to go right back to August. Wolves at home. Everton lose 1-0 on the opening day of the season to Wolves. Was this the game where Michael Keane had scored, or was it the Fulham match, the second game after, where the keeper drops it?
That was the Fulham game.
Okay.
Bernd Leno in goal, wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay. So I can't recall anything in the Wolves match in the first game of the season. I'm not sure if you can as well. Then
I don't think there was any controversial instance in that game. To be fair,
neither the Villa away game.
No,
we were just shite. And the Fulham at home game. This was the one that was controversial then, because we were far the better team. We absolutely dominated Fulham at Goodison. We should have smashed them. We got done by Marco Silva again for the third time. And the goal, Michael Keane hits it, and it's given as a foul.
It was given incorrectly as a foul, but it was given correctly as no goal. When you analyse it afterwards, Michael Keane was behind the goalkeeper when he put the ball in the back of the net. Therefore, by the letter of the law, he was offside. So, incorrect decision in the first place, but correctly ruled out. So, whichever way they come to the conclusion, they got the decision right at the end. It was the wrong way about getting the right decision. If that's easy to come across.
But do two wrongs make a right in that scenario?
Well, I mean, ultimately he was offside. Show a load of
incompetence?
It shows incompetence by both the ref on the pitch and the VAR ref. Not to pick up the offside in the first place and give it and rule it out for a foul on the goalkeeper when it wasn't a foul on the goalkeeper. But that's one incident that straight away, third game into the season.
I was absolutely livid because that was daylight robbery, and yes, it was the right answer, but for me, it was the wrong way of going about it, and the explanation was poor. And I think in that scenario, it's an advocation for referees or officials coming out after the match and saying the reason the Michael Keane goal was disallowed was for this, and give us some clarity, because I think that lack of transparency is what hurts us even more. Just going back to the Wolves game, which was the first game of the season, I'm not going to dwell on this, but apparently there was loads of fouls. I do remember now, Lamina and Gomez already on yellows, multiple fouls, and didn't get sent off at Goodison. And that's typical, because Everton haven't had a red card against them in so long. But after that, I mean, that's a very, very annoying result. And then we played Luton at home and we lost to Luton. And there wasn't a lot in that for Everton. I don't think Everton turned up on the day. So we're going to move across to the Carabao Cup game. We won 2-1. I mean, interrupt me if you can think of anything here we need to talk about. The Brentford away game, 3-1 Everton win. Arsenal at home, we were lopsided. Sheffield United 2-2. West Ham, we won away from home. I'm not even sure I can think of any incidents. Am I killing my own show here? But no. This one on Saturday, the 21st of October.
The majority of incidents have happened in the past 3 weeks to a month.
Yeah.
So we can talk about we can talk about as we go on. The Gomez tackle that it was slotted through to Dominic Calvert-Lewin and it was deemed as a foul. Do you know what I mean? Another one that everybody was saying that's not a foul. That's not a foul. All the people that have played the game. You know what I mean? Never mind VAR refs and refs and this, that, and that. People who have played the game at the highest level saying that's not a foul.
Yeah.
Even Mike Dean said it weren't a foul.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I really want to text a certain person and get a fucking answer from the horse's mouth, but I think it would be probably a bit inappropriate. Saturday, 21st of October, then Liverpool beat Everton 2-0. Ashley Young was sent off in the most ridiculous fashion. This was a bad call for me to send Ashley Young off for 2 yellow cards. The first one wasn't a yellow card. The second one was. But where's the common sense, Dave? It's a Merseyside derby. Why is he not giving him a final warning? He only made 2 fouls. For me, he wants to make an excuse to get rid of him. Craig Pawson.
I'm going to sit on the fence with this one because he booted the ball away, and I've seen before he got sent off, he booted the ball away, and he should have been yellow carded and sent off for that. But I've seen players given yellow cards for just kicking the ball away, not booting the ball into the stands. So on that, you know, the fact that he got sent off for me could have been sent off with kicking the ball away. But then we move on to the Canate incident on Beto, where it's a blatant yellow card, a second yellow card, and a red. And Craig Pawson once again decides not to issue another yellow card for Canate. Now, I read a stat earlier on, right? Craig Pawson has refereed 24 Everton games and sent off 5 players, not including his inclusion in the VAR debacle last night. That's the most players he sent off for any team in the Premier League. Now, you tell me that man has not got an agenda with Everton. And I'll shout to you, I'm blue in the face.
Because he's a Sheffield United fan.
I couldn't care who he supports, right? He's refereed 31 Liverpool games. And it was only until Canate got booked in the derby that he booked the player, never mind sending them off.
Wow, no, that's a serious stat. That's one that one of our VIP members, Chris Litchie, saying here, Liverpool Gomez, second yellow challenges stood out as one of the grievances of the season. Dave, you highlighted that. I remember being particularly angry. For me, it was absolutely a second bookable offence because he stops him going clean through in the scenario, and he'd already been booked for something similar. So he had to go, and that was at 0-0. And for me, that's a horrifying decision if the Ashley Young wasn't one, because the Blues is saying, no, David, he didn't boot the ball away when it was in play. It was as the whistle was being blown. Danny Zuko is coming in on this and saying, why would the Premier League have an agenda? Well, we're not saying they have an agenda. We're highlighting some of the key issues and asking the question to you and each other. So
I think if you spoke to 99.99% of Evertonians, we do believe that there's an agenda against us. So, like I've said before, right, is they tried to send us down footballing wise the last 2 seasons, and we managed to escape it. Now they've come up with this most ever points deduction that's ever been given to any team in the football history, right? And they give us 10 points. Now, because we've got out of that, we clawed ourselves back out of that. Now they're trying other dark tactics to get us back into
difficult. It's very proper. It's proper conspiracy.
But it seems that way though, doesn't it? Right?
It does seem that way. It does sound that way. But to be fair, after the Liverpool game, the Bournemouth win at home was kind of a very simple, straightforward win. But then Sunday, the 26th of November, and Everton lost 3-0 at home to Manchester United. I mean, the goal, the start, Garnacho, you can't do anything about. But the penalty, Martial won. For me, it's a dive.
Yeah, it's a soft one. Very soft.
He knows what he's doing. He leaves his leg in the position to con the referee and to con the VAR.
Well, there's a scenario. There's a scenario last night, right? You said Chris Kavanagh was on the VAR for that penalty, right? Chris Kavanagh was on the pitch last night and booked Eze for diving for a very, very similar thing, for leaving his foot in and diving.
I'd say there was no contact with the Eze one, but I would say there was contact with the Martial one.
There was contact. There was contact. He left his leg in, and he left his leg in for a reason, for the contact to be created. He created the contact. The contact wasn't there. It was against Onana, wasn't it? Onana pulled out. Eze left his leg in, and the next minute he's over in the box, and Chris Kavanagh spotted it and give him a yellow card for it. But on the flip side of that, you've got Martial doing the same thing in the box, gets a penalty off the same referee.
Yeah, unbelievable. I don't like that decision, the penalty one. We were deserved losers on the day, although we weren't any worse than Man United. I just felt they had the key moments there. And
we couldn't score that day. We were the better team first half, couldn't score that day. And then second half, we didn't come out.
Yeah, Chris is saying as a contact with Onana. We played Palace away from home. We won 3-2. Again, when we win, this is the thing. Do we just highlight these more because we didn't win the game? Because I'm looking at the Palace and the Brighton ones. The Brighton one at home, obviously, we were just unlucky. It was an own goal late. It's just annoying. I'm sure there's penalty incidents and things we've missed in these games, but they don't stand out to me as pertinent. And then we beat Burnley 3-0 at home in the Cup. Quite a straightforward win. And then we're on to December, and now we've got the Wolves.
This is where it all goes pear-shaped.
This
is absolutely
where we're
abysmal.
This is the true decline of the refereeing. Wolves away. Sorry. It starts off away at Nottingham Forest. We win 1-0.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're never going to highlight things that went against us when we win, because we've won. But we don't win when things go against us. That's the whole point of it. Do you know what I mean? It's like we're not going to sit here and complain and say, "Oh, we should have had a penalty, but we've won 2-0."
Well, it's this principle. We should have still. I'm just trying to think about what I'm actually.
But you can't
about the stream.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, off the top of your head, can you think of a decision that hasn't gone Everton's way where we've won? There isn't one. There isn't one, right?
Dave, as the inspiration for the stream, I need more support with these because I'm struggling to think, to be fair, of an incident in the Forest game or the Newcastle game, and I think that is because we won those matches, so we forget about them. And the Chelsea game,
but there was no controversial incidents in them games.
We also beat Burnley away, and Chris Kavanagh was on VAR, I think, for that Premier League match. But then we played Fulham in the FA Cup, 1-1. And then Fulham. This is where it starts to get a bit funny for me. These last few weeks. Saturday, 23rd of December, Tottenham 2, Everton 1. The holding of Onana in the box.
The holding of Onana, the Gomez challenge.
He gets sent off a week later.
And once again, the Gomez challenge.
Hang on. There was a Onana in the box, held. Should have been a penalty. Same player sent off for the same exact holding in the box. Sorry, penaltied against him the following week. We got robbed from that game.
Yeah. Kulusevski. And there's the following week.
The Gomez foul.
Yeah, the following week, when they played Brighton, Kulusevski done the same thing in the box, and Brighton got a penalty for it. So the problem we keep going on about it, right? Is the consistency, right? And that's the bottom dollar is there's no consistency. The refs. I was watching TalkSport today, just a little clip on there, and the guy who used to play for Tottenham, Jamie O'Hara, he was saying this is the worst bunch of referees we've ever had in the Premier League. Right? Now, obviously, that's his opinion, but you can't disagree with him. VAR has ruined our game.
It did. There was a game recently where we actually scored a goal at Goodison, the Man City game, and we scored, but I didn't celebrate in the way I would have because I just thought this is going to get ruled out for offside or some other rubbish thing because the Man City players were surrounding the referee complaining about something which was blatantly not the case. And it strips the raw emotion out of the goal scoring. And for me, I think the technology, because, we've got self-driving cars nowadays. You've got planes that can fly themselves. You've got the technology to do operations that are just well beyond man. You can have a fucking hand transplant and all this sort of stuff.
Right. Just a quick one before you go on a bit there. Planes have been able to fly themselves for years, mate. They have this thing called autopilot.
Sorry. But what I'm saying is everything can be done automated. And I don't understand why offsides cannot be automated with a quick check.
But he did in the World Cup, didn't he?
Yeah, automate the offsides. The only scenario is sometimes when the player's behind the keeper and all that sort of thing. That's quite an obvious quick check. Automate the ball out of play as well. Allow the teams to have a 3. And we will come on to these other things in a minute. We should have saved this actually till the end. But automate the offsides. Automate the ball out of play. Have a challenge and an appeal scenario for it, like they do in tennis, 3 or 2 per game. 2 decisions you can ask for an on-the-field review per team. 2. So if you don't believe it was whatever, for discretionary scenarios like a foul or a penalty. And I think that would help, but at the same time, you can't account for individual error. It comes down to training and inconsistency and what someone perceives as a foul. I mean, if it's the letter of the law, a foul is a foul, a penalty is a penalty, and a red card's a red card. There shouldn't be inconsistency between them.
But right, the referee last night, Chris Kavanagh, and his fourth official or assistant referee, whatever you want to call him, they never spotted anything wrong with that Calvert-Lewin tackle last night, challenge, right? So therefore, would you say that was a clear and obvious error? Which is what VAR is for.
If by the letter of the law that the stud's being off the ground and with a straight leg is a red card, then yes, that is a clear and obvious error.
But then we've got no chance with the appeal, then, have we?
I think the route is that it's a very harsh punishment because it was more controlled with no intent, and I think it'll get reduced to 1 game.
Well, I think personally, and I said last night, I think that you're wrong on that, because if he's being done for endangering opponents, it automatically comes with a 3-game ban. They're not going to reduce it just because there was slight contact.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, I hope you're right. I need to see it back again. Yeah.
Oh, I hope I'm wrong.
I hope it's not a red card. I don't think that should be a red card in the context of the tackle itself. But if they're saying because of the studs being off the ground, it's a red card, then if that is the law, it's the same with the handball thing. I'm going to come to that now. So the Tottenham 2-1, we've got the penalty that wasn't given. We've got the farcical Gomez decision. Dave, you can slow anything down and make it look terrible, as they did with that. That in real time, there's nothing in that whatsoever. Contact
this is what Mr.
loud.
Dyche.
Look at what happens in penalties. Look at what happens in corners. There's contact. Players are touching each other physically from a corner. How is that any different to a contact from Andre Gomez? I don't like that. I don't think that was a foul. I think this is just nitpicking and it's destroying the game.
Well, this is what Mr. Dyche said last night, wasn't it? If you slow anything down, it looks 10 times worse. Now, Calvert-Lewin has had, his critics the past few weeks because he hasn't been performing, right? But last night he put that challenge in. He was putting himself about a bit for that challenge, and the next minute he's getting sent off. You've got to feel for the lad, because he's probably been getting down the banks off people for not scoring goals, which is what he's employed to do.
And he's had chances. Yeah, and he had a chance in that game where
he had a cracking chance, but I think because his lovely locks were flowing through the air, I think with the press on the side, he must have paused for the little.
He needs to let his hair out and stop putting it in a bun. Maybe that will give him some confidence. But yeah, he should have buried that chance. And it was okay when he was contributing to games, and we were still winning, but without scoring. But now he's not scoring and he's not really contributing. I would have had better on him a lot earlier anyway. But sorry, we're going way off here. The Spurs won hard with bad decisions against Everton. That Gomez tackle is a disgrace. It cost Everton a point potentially, and the Man City one, the Onana handball. Yeah, this changed the game.
The very next game. He's lunging in to block the ball. Where's he supposed to put his hands? Like this is the stupidity.
It hits him there.
But this is the stupidity and the lack of common sense that we can't abide by it. And it's like,
I don't know whether all of these things are as clear cut. I mean, you could say that why are on his arms up?
Because he's sliding in to make a block. He's sliding in to make a block. Where's he supposed? He can't. If he puts his hands behind his back, he's going to break his bloody arms or his shoulders or something, because they're going to go sliding along the floor. You know what I mean? He's not going to go with his hands like that.
The shot's getting blazed over the bar, and it would have hit him in the head had it not hit his arm. Just playing devil's advocate here. But then you see them putting their arms behind the back all the time now, and he's kind of turning his arms like that. I can see again why. With all of them, I can see why they've been given, but I just think they're very harsh and a bit stupid.
The problem I've got right is that this, like we were clamoring for the refs to go to the screen and make their own decisions, right? But they're not making their own decisions.
It's being re-ref.
They're having their decisions forced upon them, and that's the issue with me. It's like the VAR is refereeing the game. It's as simple as that. You can't tell me otherwise. A ref goes to the screen, and as soon as we go to the screen, 99.9% of the time, he's changing his mind. And you just think, what's the point? What's the point of them going on the screen if everyone knows what's going to happen?
All you need is a robot on the pitch, and you just need a physical robot that moves, and just have a VAR watching the match on television who's saying what's what is a foul and what isn't. Because they're re-reffing everything anyway. Dave, let's talk about the Wolves game. What are your thoughts on that?
The Wolves game was just poor all round, weren't it?
But in terms of the refereeing,
did I watch that game? Because I was in Wales at the time. I think that nothing that stands out to me there, right? That sort of.
Okay, so what we've established here is we've got the Liverpool game away from home, we've got the Spurs game, we've got the Fulham game at home, the Liverpool game away from home, the Tottenham game away from home, the Man City game at home, and this Crystal Palace. So we've got 5 games. And I imagine in all the other fixtures, there will have been penalty shouts, there will have been incidents and stuff that don't stand out as much, probably because we got a decent result, but absolutely did happen. But these 5 games really stand out. This one last night, I mean, I'll be honest, I met Chris Kavanagh in the summer and I met a couple of other football people this year. I've met the Chelsea director of football a few weeks ago. I've met Kavanagh, I met Cook, I met a few of them. And they're very nice people.
Dave Coote was there.
I can't remember. They're nice people. They're genuinely nice people.
The humans.
I got the impression I actually can't slate him because it would be unprofessional. But what I would say is he comes across as a banterous kind of guy, Kavanagh. And I don't know whether he sees it as a bit of a joke. I like to think he's very professional. I actually think that they put him on for the big games. They put him for the Man City game against Liverpool. They put him for Liverpool, Liverpool, Man City, or Liverpool, Man U. They give him the biggest games. But I was so disappointed last night that it was him that had given that red card. I just thought, now's your chance, because when I asked him about the penalties, he gave a penalty against Everton earlier in the season at Man United at home. I asked him about the incident with Gylfi Sigurdsson, and he said that was the VAR telling him that he had to disallow it, and that wasn't he gave the goal as the on-field decision, so he kind of distanced himself with that. He also distanced himself just in terms of talking about an agenda with individuals, because I don't know about Craig Pawson, but I asked him about the one where sorry, not the armpit, the Rodri handball at Goodison.
Yeah.
Because
he was the VAR ref, wasn't he?
He was kind of, you can imagine, he was like, he knew it was such a bad, embarrassing decision.
We let that one slide though, right? Didn't we? We let that one slide because it stopped the red shite from winning the league.
I told him it was the best decision he ever made, but by the law, that was horrendous, and he actually got stood down from it. But he said again there was discretion and there was confusion between what is a handball when it's hitting your armpit, something here.
But it didn't hit his armpit.
It bounced up onto it.
No, it hits here. No, here. Under the sleeve. Anywhere above the sleeve line, it's not handball.
Yeah. It was to do with
it was below. It was below. It was on his bicep. Hit him on his bicep. And everyone that involved in football said it was a handball. But like I said, we let that slide because
he said to me it was handball. It was a cock up. But what he also said was that there was confusion.
But what's to be confused about?
I don't know if there's confusion. You know, this is the thing they've got to sort out, because that could have cost us a place in the Premier League. It could have cost Liverpool the league. Not that I want them to win the league. And I'm not singling him out. I'm disappointed in what happened yesterday with him. I am disappointed. I'm disappointed what happened with Craig Pawson. I just think these people are just... I wouldn't... The consistency is the problem. The use of the technology is the problem. If the people are the problem, that becomes an even more serious thing where you have to get better refs. And I don't know whether it's the refs or the way that it's implemented from higher up, from people who don't really understand the game.
I've said it all along, right, is that the VAR is a cracking bit of kit, right?
It should be.
It's just not used correctly by the people that are using it. The people that are using it are incompetent. It's as simple as that. You know, if VAR is used the way it's meant to be used, then nobody would have any complaints. Like you can pretty much it's faultless for offside decisions. If you brought in the automated or the semi-automated offside, it'd be even better, like you said. You know what I mean? Like it was in the World Cup.
There was one the other day. Arsenal this season have had horrendous decisions against them. I'm no Arsenal fan, and I think Arsenal as a football club are quite arrogant and self-entitled. But I've seen some of the decisions they've had against them. There was a goal where the ball had gone out of play. This is 2024. This is £1 billion industry. Why are you having decisions where the ramifications? Could you imagine if this was in any other sort of way of life? You know, you're costing, because the money's so big and the individuals are earning so much, it's not impacting their livelihoods. But imagine if it was truly, genuinely impacting the livelihood. The decisions are so bad that they've had. There was penalties, there was balls out of play, and all that sort of stuff. But that should be automated. How could you not have the technology to be able to say what's in and out? Is this a basic?
Wasn't he a case of?
And by the way,
go on, mate.
This is, if anyone wants to join, we'll be here for another 10 minutes. And you type that in: G7E3QK5VBNV. Also, a good time to say that if you want to support us as a channel and be a patron, we don't have any exclusive content, but we do have a membership thing where you get a nice little star next to your name, so we can see who's supporting us, such as the wonderful Chris Lynch. He has a little icon next to him. And if you want to become a VIP member, because we want to try and improve the quality of the stream, without going into too much detail on how to do what we're trying to do, you go to youtube.com/follow Everton/join, and it's a couple of £1 a month, and it just comes into the channel and allow us to hopefully get 1080p streaming and get onto Instagram as well, because we can't stream to more places at once. I need to somehow get that in the chat, Dave. I don't know if you can, on your phone, can you post a comment whilst you're on it? Because I'm on this iPad. Let me see. I can't post a comment.
I don't think I can post the comments either. Let's have a look. Oh yeah. What do you want me to post, right?
That one, if you go to more.
Yeah, I've got it on. I've got it on.
Yeah.
What do you want me to put on?
When you click more and you click guests, invite guests, click copy, and just post that into the chat.
Nice, hang on.
And then if anyone wants to come on for the next 10 minutes. If we've got more than one person, we'll split it up.
Some more.
I think it's just guests. I think you just click guests. I can do it if you can't see it.
All right, guests, yeah.
Guests, invite.
Yeah, done.
Okay. This is why we're so unprofessional professionals. There you go.
There we go.
We're not playing this weekend then, are we? Which is
Our next game's not till the 14th, is it? It's kind of a winter break.
This is funny. What do you make of this winter break? Because I'd rather we had some of the December fixtures in January, because all we did was kind of compromise the quality of the games because the players were injured and flagging at the backside. That Wolves game, I prefer that this weekend.
I don't know if it come to your attention, but most teams over Christmas and New Year played 3 games, and other teams only played 2. Definitely did, because Liverpool was one of them teams.
Here's a comment from Rod. It was Neil Warnock today that said Poulsen had an issue with Everton. I wonder whether that's an actual thing going round that he's got an issue?
He has got an issue. I don't care what anyone says. Craig Pawson, for send the most players off from any team, and you've only refed them 24 times. You've sent off 5 players, not including getting yourself involved in the VAR last night. So effectively, he sent off 6 players. We got a guest.
Yeah, give him a minute.
Chris.
Finish your point.
Yeah.
Fine. Bring him in.
Hey guys.
Good day, mate.
How's it going? We're just changing over internet at home, so if the network's a bit sketchy, cut me out if it starts to be weird, but cell service at the moment, so it should be okay.
I like your hat.
Yeah. It's one of those Christmas gifts you get from people, so it looks nice and fresh.
Very blue.
Yeah, so we can talk about refs. I think that's the point I was getting at in particular. If a referee makes a bad call, we get an apology from Howard Webb saying, well, I'm really sorry we impacted your team, yada, yada. But as a player or as a club, if someone makes an error, they get carded and there's a direct punishment, right? So is there a system anywhere at the moment that isn't in England that would, or in a different sport, that would be equivalent of, hey, you made a bad call. It's going to lead to potentially, you made a decision with all the resources we have now. We have 4 referees, 2 linesmen, VAR, 4th official to support the ref on the field. If you can't make a call that can then be overturned later when, hey, a stud was up, but it was pretty limited contact, as we know. Now,
I have an idea.
Could have lost 4 matches. Is there a way to come up with some form of like accountability for their refereeing to not be, well, we have the same referees every week. Occasionally they get dropped, but we don't know why. And some form of accountability, and that's what I've been feeling recently.
Chris, welcome. They do get
Happy New Year, Chris.
Happy New Year to you guys as well.
They do get stood down. They do have accountability internally.
Okay,
I could say that for sure. But what I think should happen is you should have the option to have it. So say the game is being broadcast on Sky Sports.
Mm-hmm.
You should have the option to toggle on or off the referee's conversation with the VAR and the mic that they hear with the players. And yes, there might be effing and blinding, but that's why you have the option to toggle that on. If you're in a house with adults, you can listen to what's going on. You can even have subtitles on.
Yeah, subtitles.
And tell us what's going on. And also have post-match interviews with the referees. There's your solution.
It's tough. I mean, the decision that for Eze, that was the correct call. He clearly made contact into Onana, fell over. The crowd was raging against Kavanagh, and he stood by it, and it was the right call. And then later on, he makes the opposite call when pressure was on him. Our favorite Craig Pawson says, "Hey, you've got. There's something here. The stud's up. You have to make the call." And he's stuck in the middle, probably the home field pressure guy rolling on the ground, and he has to make a decision quickly. Granted, there are certain clubs that seem to get it worse than others. I think Wolves might actually be worse than Everton this year. But we can talk about refs forever, but that's, that would kind of
Here's one on the flip side for Chris Kavanagh, right? Do you remember in COVID and Everton beat Liverpool 2-0 in the derby at Anfield? No fans in the stadium. I think it was Calvert-Lewin went through into the box and Trent Alexander-Arnold brought him down.
Okay.
And he gave a penalty, right? The VAR ref sent him to the screen to have a look. He had a look and he stuck by his decision.
Yeah, I don't
know. One of the few times.
But your point of sticking with the decision or overruling is really,
But this is the thing, right? Is that if a ref in his gut at that present moment in the game believes that there's been no unless someone's legs being broken or something daft like that, unless it's blatantly obvious that the ref's got it wrong, the VAR should be staying out of anything the ref gives on the pitch. Right?
Yeah.
If Chris Kavanagh didn't see anything wrong last night with that tackle, so the game should have carried on. Right?
Yeah.
But then the VAR got involved.
It wasn't. Hey, VAR, could you check to make sure that there was anything in that? The VAR's overruled him and said, "Oh my God, the studs are up. You need to look at this. You need to send him off." And that shouldn't be what happens, in my opinion.
Yeah, and if you're a referee, I mean, you stick by your gut, but man, it's a complicated game. You've got 22 players running around, making contact, diving. All people are in your face immediately. You need to make a quick decision, and you worry about there's cameras on you to make the right call. Use your resources. I'm sure it's probably told to these guys all the time. So then the real credit goes to those, hey, that was a non-penalty. And then there's a camera shows, like, go to VAR. Everyone's staring at the ref as he's awkwardly looking at that little box, and he sticks with his decision. You've got to give someone credit for those calls. It doesn't happen enough.
But the thing is, like you said, Chris, it doesn't happen enough. And that Eni Alujo that was on the commentary last night, obviously you didn't. I don't know whether you got the ITV4 coverage over it your way.
No, honestly, I'm not
coverage.
Right. So she turned around and said after the game that referees and I think it was Joby McAnuff saying, "I said the pressure that's on the ref on the pitch at the time, coming from the VAR official, coming from the crowd, blah blah blah, it must be immense." He's trying to justify that decision. That Eni Alujo turned around and said the referee would be more respected if he just stuck by his original decision. Which
Dice
is completely true.
So if Dice wasn't a manager, he'd make a fantastic ref because he's not going to listen to other people's decisions on when to sub or make a call.
Well, no, you're right there. But I mean, what I like about Dice, right, is he's constantly moaning at the ref, the fourth official. He's constantly in his ear. Like, we've had managers who just accepted.
He got a voice. It's because he's screaming at the fourth official all the time.
No, he drinks gravel.
Grew up on the quarry. Yeah.
But we've had managers that have stood on the sidelines and not whispered a word to the fourth official. He's constantly in the ear. Jurgen Klopp's the same. He's constantly in the ear of the fourth official, and I like that about him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's good.
Might not.
Well, what's funny is if everyone screams, then you have to compete doing the same thing, or you're not going to win the fouls. And I think a lot of Everton players, and I like Everton players for it, we're not like diving all over the place and give them the card and this kind of thing. And other than Dyche, we're not in the face of the ref that much. And maybe that comes to our detriment. Maybe it's also that we don't have as many people that break the lines and aren't 6 foot whatever and basically muscular people. So they stand up, or if they get knocked over like Beto, hey, you must be acting. No, that was a foul, but it's kind of in a gray area because, well, you should be tough enough. So there's this, you've got these kind of situations going on. But if in real life we're like this, if someone is always complaining, you don't take it seriously. But if someone's quiet and then occasionally they say something, it means more. But in a realm when everyone's yelling, who's paying attention to the quiet one? So you've got to yell.
Yeah, as I say, you're right. But we've got a comment there from the Blues. Kavanagh didn't get told to give a red card. He got called to review it and change his mind. This goes back to the Joby McAnuff.
Yeah. Well,
time. It's not
a yellow might be fair. Like, hey, don't go studs up. It wasn't that bad a contact. That's enough. But it feels like it's either up here or nothing. It's not like there's no gray area.
The thing is, it's like you. I mean, I don't know what you do for work, Chris. You know what I mean? But it's like you going into work, and you do your job, and somebody comes up to you and go, "Oh, I think you've got that wrong, Chris." Doubt's going to start creeping into your mind, so you're going to go and double check it. Do you know what I mean? So you'll go, absolutely. No, actually, I've got that right. Do you know what I mean? But refs, because they're under so much pressure from the crowd, the home crowd, and the VAR and stuff like that, he thinks, "Oh, I've got one wrong there." And also, maybe because the accountability is there, that they're going to get dropped or they get sent to the championship or whatever. I don't know.
what I've noticed is sometimes the referees crumble under pressure when the crowd is baying for a decision. But the one yesterday, there was no one asking for it. None of the Palace players, and that's Chris. Just finally, that is a pertinent issue. There, no one was asking for this red card whatsoever,
except the guy that was rolling on the ground a bit. But they're always going to do that just by them falling over.
a bit. I think the fella from the grassy knoll was in the crowd.
Chris, I'm sorry to
them.
cut you off. I'm very short of time. We were meant to finish at 8:30, and there's one more person who wants to come on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Chris, take it easy, mate. Nice to see you, lad.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good man.
Who's waiting in the wings?
Just give Peter 2 minutes.
Peter.
Yeah, literally got 2 minutes for him to have his say. Pete. Oh, David, are you admin here? Go on. Peter, you've got a 60-second rant.
Can you guys hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, can hear you. Go on, mate. Nice to see you, Pete.
Mate, well, first of all, I'm off the fucking wall with my internet connection. I had to come outside to get a proper connection. It's a fucking joke. Listen, what I was going to talk about was Kavanagh. I'm sorry, mate, but that guy's anti-Merseyside because he's not only given decisions against us that are bad, he's done it to the shite as well.
What
Like,
about
there's
the Man
been,
City?
I was talking.
What about the Man City game a few weeks ago when he disallowed the Man City handball, the Man City goal for a foul on Alisson?
That's the sixth. Looking at this red card, that's probably like the sixth bad decision he's made against us. I mean, you've talked about the Rodri handball, the Onana one. There was also the Man United game you were talking about. There was the two Man United games, rather. The one where Sigurdsson was on the floor, the one where Martial dives clearly, but the other one that I feel isn't getting mentioned here is the Tottenham game where we still had Richarlison. Richarlison got fouled by Lloris, and when he got fouled, Kavanagh gave the pen, but about 5 seconds before he gave the pen, Richarlison doesn't appeal. He instead gets right back up, regains control of the ball. As two players up in support, an open fucking goal, and he gives the penalty, but then he checks the monitor, changes his mind, and gives the ball back to Tottenham instead of giving it back to us. So he's basically taken an opportunity to score an open goal away from us, and it's like that's like the seventh bad decision he's given against us. But as I said, it's not just us, mate. He does it against the shite as well. I was talking to a lad I know, a copite, who said that he's the exact same when he referees them. And I think it's more to do with the fact that he just has some kind of agenda against Merseyside in general.
I disagree. I think. Oh, I disagree. I think that he's made some bad decisions against Everton, but I think for Liverpool,
for me personally,
sorry, David, he gave a penalty for Liverpool against West Ham earlier in the season, and West Ham had a blatant penalty, and there was all sorts.
I think personally, for me personally, Craig Pawson's got more of an issue with Everton than any ref out there. He should never be allowed to referee an Everton game again in his life, even on VAR.
The thing about Craig Pawson, though, mate, I think Pawson's problem is that he's not got some kind of agenda against Everton. He's just really, really, really shit because I've seen him officiate other games that haven't involved Everton. That haven't involved Everton, and he's just like, he's always making a bad decision. Like, it doesn't matter whether it's us, whether it's one of the London clubs, whether it's one of the Southern clubs. He referees any game, mate, and he's a shambles. It doesn't matter if he's VAR or on the pitch. He makes one bad decision every game.
Like I said before, when he refereed the derby, right, he'd refereed Liverpool games 31 times. And not even booked the player until Canate was booked. Right, the man is like I said before. The refereeing standard in the Premier League at the minute is rock bottom. It's not just Pawson and it's not just Kavanagh. It's pretty much all of them. They're all a shambles.
Yeah, Peter. Final thoughts from you before we wrap things up.
Yeah, sorry. What I can't understand is why haven't they brought the semi-automated offsides in? Because we saw 2 injuries last month, one from Luca Dean and one from John Stones in our game, where they could have been prevented if the semi-automated technology had been put into play. And because it isn't, they've both got injuries now. So they're going to be out for God knows how long, and those teams have got to deal with that. The semi-automated tech works. I mean, all right, it might bring us back to the toenail offsides, but I'd rather have that than have players getting injured, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and speed it up so it says goal instantly, so you can celebrate it.
Yeah.
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 You can't get anyone disagreeing with you there, mate. Just on the thing, you know, that Guardiola had a little moan, didn't he, about that the fact that if the linesman had flagged for offside, then Stones wouldn't have got injured. But you can't have it both ways. It's like if it's a tight offside and they go on and score, and then it comes back and gets reviewed, and the goal's onside, then the linesman's done his job correctly. If he's way offside and it's blatant, then the linesman will always put his flag up,
it's got
straight
to be,
away.
Peter, that would only work if it was really fast, because I think how annoyed would you be if he's blowing up for an offside fast and he doesn't know? So yeah, it's got to be automated and fast and accurate.
And the pace is too fast, isn't it? The pace of the game's too quick. Right. That's why I think the automated needs to be more important. I mean, it's the equivalent of goal line technology, really, isn't it? It catches it straight away, notifies the linesman, he raises the flag. I mean, that's better because he doesn't have to rely on the naked eye for the tight ones. If it's obvious, he can catch it with the naked eye.
Too soon after the Spurs one. Peter, thanks for dropping on. We'll see you soon. Chat
again. Nice one, Pete.
No worries.
All the best, lads.
In a bit, lads. Yeah, you too.
Well, Dave,
it's been emotional.
It's been a good show.
It has. And we'd like to thank everyone for the comments. And I think we pretty much gauge from all the comments that have come in that we're all of the same ilk, that we think that there is a conspiracy against us.
I'm on the fence. I think
you can't be on the fence, right?
I think there's
not after that last night.
I think there's been 5 very bad decisions
it's week after week, right? It's week after week.
But when
you had the Tottenham game, you had the Tottenham game, then the Man City game, then we had a little bit of a break where they left us alone.
City, Wolves, Man City, and that game, and the Liverpool game, and Fulham. Yeah, you could say, I don't know whether it's an agenda. I just think it's sheer incompetence.
No, you can't keep getting things wrong like that all the time.
You know what? We'll soon find out. It's unacceptable, Dave, and we'll soon find out, because we'll find out. Emma's not happy with me, but I can see. I have to say that I can see why, if the law is that the straight leg with the studs up is a red card, then that's a red card. If the rule is that his arms are in a natural place and that's deemed unnatural, then that's a penalty. And I disagree. I don't think it was a foul by Andre Gomez. That's a bad decision. I think it was a penalty, the holding yesterday. I think it was a penalty for Spurs. So I think some of them have been worse than others. And the Calvert-Lewin.
There's a dive by Martial in the box that was given.
It's conning the. It's awful.
Yeah, I mean, like last night, that sending off last night, people saying it's the worst red card ever. I disagree. I think that Willy Bowley one was worse than that. Which says a lot.
So it's every. Do you know what, David? We're isolating all these games, but look at the refereeing around the league. As I said about Arsenal,
that's what I said. The standard of refereeing is absolutely shocking.
The Willy Bowley one is a disgrace. The Forest Wolves game.
Yeah, that was like I say. In my opinion, that sending off was worse than Calvert-Lewin's last night. Because, like you said, if the letter of the law says his studs are up and he's made contact whether minimal or not, then he deserves a red card. If you're somebody who's played football, it's not a red card. But the referees,
it shouldn't be a red. Yeah,
yeah. The referees are not there. The referees are there to uphold the rules, and they don't make the rules. They just have to adhere to them. And make sure that everybody else sticks to them. So, but when they're getting things wrong, that like the sending off for Willy Bowley, like that was just absolutely disgraceful. Never ever seen anything like that in my life in football.
It's the same. It seems to be a problem across the board, and I don't like the new handball rule as well. I think that's silly.
Another thing that needs to be
Because
changed.
if it's not a deliberate action,
Nobody deliberately handles the ball, do they?
well, I think the Rodri one is deliberately a handball.
Well, it's bounced up and hit him in the arm. He hasn't. He didn't deliberately mean to do that.
His arm's out.
I remember a few years ago. I think it was Liverpool in the cup final. Stefanenko basically saved it on the line. That's a deliberate handball. He didn't. I don't even think he got sent off for that game.
That wouldn't.
I can't remember. But you know,
see what's going on behind here? Oh my goodness me!
Two of them.
They're watching the stream.
It's riveting.
They're both big Evertonians, them two.
Good lads.
I tried to name her after Decore. I need to get a picture of that. Evertonians. Oh no, don't go.
She comes to say hello. She's getting closer, right?
Oh, and on that note, Dave, pleasure to talk to you, and I'll see you soon.
All the best, mate. Thanks for watching and commenting, the fellow Blues. Please like and subscribe. And like Ryan said before, if you want to be an exclusive member and share your £2 every month, then get yourself pumped into it.
Thank you. See you, Dave.
See you later. Ta-ra, mate.
Bye, guys. Thank you. Yeah, we're supporting Sunderland.